Ever wondered how an empire could outlive Rome itself? While the Western Roman Empire fell in the 5th century, its eastern half, known as the Byzantine Empire, endured for nearly 1,000 years. Centered in Constantinople, it preserved Roman law, Greek culture, and Christian faith long after the West was lost. This survival was no accident. It was built on strong defenses, clever diplomacy, and deep faith. For centuries, Byzantium stood as the shield of Europe. Its story is one of resilience, proving that even when empires collapse, others can rise from their ashes. Did you know Constantinople was once the wealthiest city in the world? Founded by Emperor Constantine the Great in 330 CE, it became the beating heart of the empire. Surrounded by water and protected by massive Theodosian walls, it was nearly impossible to conquer. Its markets overflowed with silk, spices, and treasures from Asia and Europe. Hagia Sophia, the great church, towered as a symbol of both faith and empire. For centuries, Constantinople was not just a city, it was a fortress of civilization. Whoever held it controlled the gateway between East and West. What if one emperor tried to rebuild the entire Roman Empire? That was the dream of Justinian I, who ruled in the 6th century. He launched wars to reclaim lost lands in Italy, North Africa, and Spain. He ordered the construction of the magnificent Hagia Sophia, still standing today as a wonder of the world. Most importantly, he commissioned the Justinian Code, a collection of Roman laws that shaped Europe's legal systems for centuries. Though his wars drained the empire, his vision left a legacy of law, architecture, and culture unmatched in history. Did you know the Byzantine Empire shaped Christianity as we know it? The empire defended and defined the faith during centuries of debate and conflict. The ecumenical councils held in Byzantium clarified doctrines like the Trinity and the nature of Christ. The Byzantines believed their emperor ruled not only by power, but also by divine authority. Churches like Hagia Sophia embodied their devotion. Even after centuries, Orthodox Christianity still carries the spiritual heart of Byzantium. The empire was not just political, it was the guardian of faith for millions. What if walls could hold back history itself? The Theodosian walls of Constantinople were among the strongest fortifications ever built. For 1,000 years, they protected the city against countless sieges, from Persians, Arabs, Bulgars, and even Crusaders. These walls were so strong that enemies often gave up before breaching them. Only with gunpowder and cannons did they finally fall in 1453. For centuries, the survival of Byzantium, and perhaps Europe, rested on stone, mortar, and clever engineering. The walls of Constantinople were more than defenses, they were symbols of survival. Did you know the Byzantines won wars without fighting? Unlike many empires that relied on armies alone, Byzantium perfected the art of diplomacy. They bribed enemies, arranged marriages, and played rivals against each other. Gold and clever words often saved them more than swords. This diplomacy allowed them to face threats from Arabs, Turks, and nomadic tribes without collapsing. In many ways, their pen was mightier than the sword. The Byzantine gift for strategy showed that survival often depends on brains, not just power. Ever wondered who kept ancient knowledge alive during Europe's Dark Ages? The Byzantines preserved Greek philosophy, Roman law, and Christian theology in their libraries and schools. Works of Plato, Aristotle, and Hippocrates survived thanks to Byzantine scribes. They influenced the Islamic Golden Age and later the European Renaissance. While much of Europe struggled, Byzantium remained a beacon of learning and culture. Their art, icons, and mosaics also inspired generations. Without Byzantium, much of the world's wisdom might have been lost forever. What if a secret weapon kept an empire alive? The Byzantines developed Greek fire, a deadly flame-throwing weapon that burned even on water. This terrifying weapon saved Constantinople during Arab sieges and struck fear into enemies. Combined with disciplined soldiers and brilliant generals, the Byzantine army became one of the strongest of its age. Their use of strategy and innovation allowed them to defend a small empire against massive threats. Greek fire became a legend of medieval warfare, a secret so well kept that it died with the empire. How does an empire survive endless crises? The Byzantines faced plagues, invasions, civil wars, and betrayals. At times it seemed they would vanish like the Western Roman Empire. Yet each time, they adapted and endured. Emperors came and went, dynasties rose and fell, but the empire survived. Their ability to reinvent themselves kept them alive. Byzantium was like a phoenix, burned down but always reborn. Their resilience is why historians call them not just survivors, but masters of endurance and adaptation. Did you know Byzantium split Christianity in two? In 1054, tensions between the Eastern Orthodox Church in Constantinople and the Roman Catholic Church in the West led to the Great Schism. Disputes over authority, rituals, and theology divided Christianity permanently. The Byzantines chose independence from Rome, creating the Orthodox tradition that still thrives today. This moment shaped the religious map of the world. The schism was more than a quarrel. It was a turning point in both religion and geopolitics. What if the world's strongest city finally fell? In 1453, after centuries of decline, Mehmed II and the Ottoman Turks brought cannons to Constantinople's walls. For 7 weeks, the city resisted, but the walls could not withstand gunpowder. On May 29th, the city fell, ending the Byzantine Empire after more than 1,000 years. The fall shocked Europe and reshaped history. Constantinople became Istanbul, the jewel of the Ottoman Empire. Though Byzantium was gone, its legacy lived on in law, religion, and culture. Its fall marked the end of an age, but not the end of its influence. Did you know Byzantium's influence still shapes our world? From the Orthodox Church to Renaissance art, from Roman law to modern diplomacy, the empire's fingerprints are everywhere. They preserved knowledge, inspired architecture, and shaped the idea of empire itself. Byzantium was more than a continuation of Rome. It was a bridge between the ancient and modern worlds. Its story proves that survival is not just about power, but about adaptation, resilience, and vision. 1,000 years of endurance left behind a legacy that continues to define civilization today. Ever thought how Byzantium connected worlds that never should have met? The empire stood at the crossroads of Europe and Asia, linking the Christian West with the Islamic East in the trade of Silk Road civilizations. Its markets overflowed with spices from India, silk from China, and gold from Africa. Diplomats, scholars, and merchants from all cultures passed through its gates, making Constantinople a true melting pot of civilizations. Byzantium wasn't just a survivor, it was a bridge that carried knowledge, culture, and ideas across continents. Without it, the world's history would look completely different. What if an empire could live on even after its walls had crumbled? Though Constantinople fell in 1453, the spirit of Byzantium never truly died. Its art inspired the Renaissance, its theology still guides millions in the Orthodox faith, and its legal traditions echo in courts across the world. Byzantium showed that true power is not just in armies or walls, but in ideas that endure across centuries. Even today, its mosaics, churches, and stories remind us of a civilization that stood between worlds and shaped them both. The Byzantine Empire may be gone, but its soul still breathes through history's every chapter. And in every lesson of resilience, we still hear the whispers of Byzantium's enduring flame.